Hi, I'm Zach,
And I'm Lindsay.
and today we're going to be talking about our top 5 games from Gamescom 2020.
So to start off, my number 5 is going to be Override 2. Now, for a lot of you who don't know, I played Override 1. I had a lot of fun with it. It's a mech third person game. It really reminds me of the older game from the PlayStation 2, like War of the Monsters, where you have a whole different selection of mechs that can fight each other. It's split screen, it's multiplayer. It even had a mode in it where you can have a couple people control one robot, kind of like the whole thesis of getting all the Power Rangers together and one of them controls the arms and one of them controls the legs. But in
Yeah,
practice, it's like a huge mess because no one can coordinate together. So it's a really fun party thing. So I'm really excited to get this game, to see this game have a sequel come out. And it looks like it's got a little bit of a higher budget. So hopefully they can really push the bounds of what they could do in the first game, bring us even more cool mechs and even more fun modes to the party.
cool. So my number 5 is Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1. This is a prequel to the Sherlock Holmes game. It's from Frogwares. It's kind of a new franchise within the actual like Sherlock Holmes name. It's got a bit more of a twist to it. It's a lot darker. There's 2 games that have come out, one of which is called The Devil's Daughter, and that one I did play. I played it on a PC though. It was actually really fun. The story's good. The graphics are one thing that is always of note because it looks really really pretty. It's kind of like a noir detective game. So them actually going back in time, you're kind of getting the teenagey angst Sherlock Holmes, and so it's going to be interesting to see how they actually take that and use it. And it's also set in like a Mediterranean island, which is, I mean, that's a huge difference from the streets of London that they're normally taking place in. So I'm really interested to see what they actually do with this.
All right, my number 4 is going to be Teardown. This one has a very Minecraft inspired pixel art style to it. The blocks seem to be a lot smaller, but it's still got that pixel look to it. This one just looks really cool. It's got a fully destructible environment, so you can literally tear every single thing down to rubble. But your whole objective here is to kind of clear a path to do like heist missions on as fast as possible. So it's kind of like a time trial where you can like knock out the side of a building so you don't have to run in the front door and run out the back door. And then it looks like you can also use cranes and other things to knock stuff over or to line up like a walkway. So instead of getting out of the top of one building, going down the stairs, going up the stairs of the other one, you can like knock holes in the sides of each of them and then put like a large street lamp or something across to bridge that gap. So this just looks really cool. It's really innovative. Looks like it's for definitely from an indie developer, and it just looks like something to be a lot of fun to try out. So I'm pretty excited to see what this one will be like.
I thought that one looked pretty cool too. So my number 4 is Remothered Broken Porcelain. This is a horror game. I've played a little bit of the first one. This is the sequel. It's like a third person kind of a Silent Hill esque game. You can't actually defend yourself. You have to like run away or hide from the creatures and the people that are kind of like I guess tormented. And so it's in a Victorian style house that's like in the 1800s. It's very creepy aesthetically and just like the actual story itself. It reminds me of there was a game, I can't remember exactly what it was called, but there was a guy with a big pair of scissors. I think it was Clock Tower. Yeah, it was Clock Tower. And it gives me like huge Clock Tower vibes. I'm really excited to get my hands on it. I believe it comes out on October 20th, so it's very close to Halloween. If you're a fan of horror games at all, I would definitely suggest checking out the first one, which is Remothered Tormented Fathers, and then we have Broken Porcelain coming out later this year.
All right, my number 3 is going to be Medal of Honor. This is a VR title set in World War II. I'm very excited to see Medal of Honor having to come back. I used to love the old Medal of Honor games on the PlayStation 2. I really love VR games, so this will be a really good match, I think. Seems like there's going to be a lot of other interaction besides just shooting and throwing grenades. It seems like they try and put in as much interactable objects as possible. Um, so this one seems like it's going to be not only a really fun action experience, but a really cool tailored experience strictly for VR as well. So I can't wait to have this one come out. I'm pretty excited about this one as well.
Nice. So my number three is Just Die Already. And what really grabbed my attention was that the trailer was a shot-for-shot parody of the Cyberpunk 2077 trailer. They even like openly said, like, yeah, we're totally like we're taking on the big guns, and so that grabbed my attention. But for the gameplay itself, I'm I'm curious as to how this game got approved and who approved it, but this looks really fun. Basically, you play as old people and you try to kill yourself. That sounds terrible, but in concept, the gameplay looked fun. I don't think there was a release date, but I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on this. This looks like a super fun game. There was a game on the PS3 that kind of had the same concept where you're just trying to do as much bodily damage to yourself as possible. Uh, just this new twist on it. Wasn't expecting it. Looks fun. Looks like it's going to be a fun time, regardless of what you're actually doing.
All right, my number two is going to be Space Crew. This is the sequel to Bomber Crew. So in these type of games, you're essentially like a manager over the spaceship. You're telling each crew member which job they should be doing and how to go about doing everything. So you want your mechanic to be going around repairing everything as your ship takes damage, maybe putting out fires. Your medical officer might be healing people, but if he's not healing people, maybe he has to jump on a cannon and help defend the ship. It looks like you can have aliens invade your ship. Maybe you have to try and repel some of them. So you're trying to manage all these different things simultaneously, which is a lot of fun. It's definitely a good strategy game. The really tricky part about these is your crew levels up the number of missions they do, but if they die on a mission completely, you lose them and you have to get a new crew member and pretty well reset all of your progress. And if your ship happens to explode, you lose all the upgrades on your ship and all your crew members. So it can get really tricky, especially in later missions where you're like, no, no, I've spent so long leveling everyone up. They can't all die now. And then they do, and then you have to start all over again. So that's one thing that definitely gives it a little bit of a high stress situation. But overall, really fun game. I loved Bomber Crew. I'm very excited to see them do a sequel. I'm really big into space stuff, so this is a perfect match for me. I will definitely be picking this one up.
Nice. So my number two is Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. Now, unfortunately, this game did get delayed to spring of 2021, but I mean, with everything that's going on, that's okay. Now, this game is kind of a different take on the Lego style. Normally, they seem like they're asymmetric, kind of like an overview where you can get to play different characters and throw them in and have a fun time. But this is, at least from the trailer, it appears that it's more of a third-person focused game. It's a full recreation of the entire saga, so all nine films are there. It looks like there's going to be some parody moments. You know, they're going to have their typical Lego fun.
My number one is going to be Limnus Gate. This game looks like a combination between Call of Duty and chess. So, from what I've seen out of this trailer, it's a 1v1, except you get 25-second intervals to do loops. So, you can go out there in your first 25 seconds, take an objective, and run it back to your base. Then the next person gets 25 seconds and they go out there and shoot you and take the objective back to their base. Now where it starts really getting interesting now, where you have to start thinking a little bit ahead, is how are you going to set it up to where you can win overall after all the loops are done? Because your previous versions of yourself are still going out there and doing the things you had done before. And it looks like there's going to be different objectives, different types of missions in this as well. So, for example, you might send one unit out to go try and shoot a guard tower or whatever that thing was they were shooting at, and then maybe another one out there to help them. That way, essentially, you are shooting it twice and are able to take it out and clear a path for a future version of yourself to run through an objective. This seems really cool. I'm probably more excited about this game than any of the games I've seen out of Gamescom, and this one kind of blindsided me. It came out of nowhere. I just think this concept is really cool. I haven't really seen anything like this before. I'm just really interested to play this game and see exactly how this game feels once you're actually playing it.
So my number one is a game called 12 Minutes, which ironically is also based on a time loop. It takes place at 12 minutes, kind of an increment. Basically, you're playing as a husband with your wife, and every 12 minutes, a man knocks on your door and kills you both. And you have to figure out why that person is showing up, what you need to do to stop it. There's apparently like over 200 possibilities of how things can go. And then the one thing that was announced at Gamescom was that Willem Dafoe is going to be narrating it with James McAvoy and Daisy Ridley voicing the characters that you're actually playing as. So they added a really cool cinematic aspect that I wasn't expecting. They got professional actors. So it seems like it's going to be a big package in a small game. So I'm definitely looking forward to experience what this one has to play.
With that being said, tell us what your favorite Gamescom games were in the comments down below. And until next time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.